Today I'm showing you how I paid my mortgage with these 4 flips. The cheap ones, the ones I overspent on, and the ones that were destined for the dump. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Kara with Lemons to Lemonade Furniture. I'm a crazy busy homeschool mom who hates credit card debt and does everything I can to stay out of it, and that means flipping furniture. Come join me out in the garage and I'll show you how it's done.
So I've got a mortgage payment of $1,800, so let's see how close I can get. First up is the slate coffee table by Drexel. I purchased this at an auction for $6 and I found it on a few furniture websites selling for over $1,000. So let's see how this one turns out.
Drexel coffee table. It was from the 1960s. I just loved it when I saw it at the auction and had to bid on it. Nobody bid against me, so I was so happy to score this guy for $6 whole. Once I got this home, I couldn't wait to go to work on it. There's the maker's mark. It was on the inside, which I love to find those. And all the usual steps that are included on flipping a piece of furniture is what I did to this one. So we gave it a good cleanup with a little bit of simple green. Upon closer examination, I saw that this whole thing came apart, so I went to work taking off the top and the base so I could work on these metal plates a little easier. I used some black flat spray paint to make all of these metal pieces the same uniform color. While the spray paint was drying, I used my Makita orbital sander to sand off all the nicks, scrapes, and bumps that were on the base and the top of this. I also wanted to get off all this orange looking wood as this is no longer in style. Once my sanding was done and all the dust was wiped back, I used some Minwax finishing paste in just a natural color to help seal this natural wood. Now that the piece has been sealed and protected, it's time to put it all back together.
Next up is a dated dresser that was really low to the ground, so I needed to get this guy elevated. And I'm going to see if painting it one of the trendy colors from my area is going to help this sell for big bucks.
I purchased this dresser for the bargain price of $60. Is it in good shape? I don't really know. It had these add-ons to it where the mirror hinge had originally broken, so they had those in there to hold the mirror in place. The drawers are in really good shape. They have dovetails, which is always nice. It needed a little fixing, but over and all, it was in pretty decent shape to start with. So, first things first, let's give it a good clean with some simple green. Then I had to fill in all the holes that were left over from those screws that were put into the top of this. And once that dried, I gave the entire piece a nice scuff sand so my paint will adhere properly. I'll wipe all my sanding dust back so I can move on to the next step. This piece was solid wood, and I was worried about bleed through because I am going to be using a lighter color, so I got some white pigmented shellac primer at my local Sherwin-Williams and gave this dresser 2 good coats. I decided to use Krylon's chalk paint in the color Evergreen Fog, fed that into my gravity-fed HVLP spray gun, and off we go. This dresser was a little too short and needed some new legs, so I measured for some new feet and we started cutting out the base for that. Then I wasn't quite sure what color I wanted to stain the base, so I got out some of my different Minwax wood stain finishes and see what color I would like the best. The entire base tutorial for this is attached to its original video, which I've linked below in the video description, but I built the DIY wife base for the dresser that you see here, which I'm sure everybody is pretty familiar with her base now, so that is the base that I used for this dresser. For a tough and durable top coat, I chose to use Helmsman's Minwax Spar Urethane in a satin finish and applied 2 coats.
You guys, this next project I way overpaid for. I got carried away at an auction and I got just a little bit happy for this guy, but I walked away with 2 of these buffets and this one was the first to be flipped.
So this one looks a little deceiving. Like I said, I paid a little too much for this guy, but the other one that I ended up getting with it is actually a Drexel, and it's in really perfect shape, and it is solid wood. This one, however, is not. So I overpaid a bit on this because I really wanted the other one as well, but I knew I could still turn a profit on this guy. So I went to work cleaning it off first. It was pretty dirty. It is not solid wood like I mentioned, but it's still going to look really beautiful at the end. I wanted to get off these orange tones that were on the top of this dresser, so I used some chemical stripper with a chip brush. I'll brush this on in a nice thick layer and put on some saran wrap on the top so that it has time to soak into this finish. I let that sit and do its job for about 2 hours and then came back out to the garage to get off some of this orangey coating. Mineral spirits helps to deactivate your chemical stripper, and if I use a little bit of steel wool, it'll also help to pick up any of the gunk that the chemical stripper left behind. Once the top is dry, I'll go in with my Makita orbital sander and remove the rest of the finish. For this project, I decided to use Lily Moon's Milk Paint in their darkest black color. Mix it up according to the package directions, and I mixed little bits at a time because I really wasn't quite sure how much I was going to need for this. I was so impressed with the way that this paint went on, and the color was just so rich and vibrant, and when it dried, it was the perfect matte black. I wanted a little more of the chippy effect that milk paint offers, so I went in with a light sanding pad and just added little bits of chipping as I wanted. To seal the black paint, I used walrus oil furniture wax. To stain the top of the buffet, I chose 2 colors of Lily Moon's gel stain, put equal amounts on the top, and then spread it around really well with a chip brush. Her products are another favorites of mine, and this gel stain is so user-friendly. It's perfect for beginners. You really can't mess this up. I highly recommend these.
I'm getting so close to my total of $1,800 to pay my mortgage this month. Last up is my favorite style of furniture, pieces from the 1980s. Although they are usually all particle board, the body styles of this furniture make the perfect canvases for makeovers.
I fell in love with this piece when I found it. You will not believe what this will turn into. This piece was in decent shape. It just needed a good clean, like most of them do, so I used my simple green to get off all the dirt and grime. I wanted to paint this dresser, but first I had to remove these little strips of gold detailing. I'm literally holding my breath as I take this out of here because I really want to use this again, and I'm hoping that it will go right back in place when I'm done painting. This dresser had a large piece of particle board that was lifting up on it, so once I got that off of there, I filled it with some wood fill so it would lay nice and flat. Once all my wood fill was dry, I sanded back the top and gave the rest of the dresser a nice scuff sand as well. Since I had quite a few repairs on the top, more than I had anticipated, I went ahead and used some Rust-Oleum 2-time bonding primer in a flat white just to make sure I didn't have any bleed through issues. This base was a little dated, so I went ahead and gave it a bit of an upgrade. I chose the Dusty Rose color in Dixie Belle's Silk Mineral Paint line and ran it through my gravity-fed HVLP spray gun. I freshened up these trim pieces and the gold poles with a little bit of spray paint. Lucky for me, once the trim pieces were dry, they went right back into place.
My profit after purchasing all 4 of these pieces, flipping them, and selling them on Facebook Marketplace, I've made a total of $1,874. Did you have a favorite out of these 4 flips? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Each one of these has their own individual video on YouTube. If you want a more in-depth tutorial or you want to see the products that I used on them, you can see their video links down below. My next piece is already rolling into the garage, and I look forward to seeing you next week on Lemons to Lemonade Furniture.